What is up, YouTube? So I recently acquired this Razer Blade base model. Came out last year around the November, October. I think that this is worth getting because of the crazy price drop that just happened. So you can find it on sale. I'll leave a link below, but definitely for 1,100 bucks, I think that this is worth it. Let's get into it. Alright, so the specs that I got with this model was the 1660 Ti graphics card, and this is the 80 watt version. I got the i7 9750H 9th gen i7 processor, and this one has 6 cores that can reach up to 4.5 gigahertz, 256 gigabytes of storage, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and Wi-Fi 5. So it doesn't have Wi-Fi 6 yet. Obviously this came out last year. I believe that with this price, it's actually really good for what you get, because, you know, it definitely takes a lot of money for Razer to make a design aesthetic like this. If you compare other options with similar specs, you're definitely gonna see around the 900 to 1,000 range. So pretty much you're paying only like 100, 200 for the Razer Blade tax, which is great for people like me who think that aesthetics are definitely something that they value. I definitely think that aesthetics are something that I really love. When I use the laptop, I definitely want to be able to appreciate its build quality, because I feel like I'm not going to break it or anything like that. It's just something that a personal preference for me. So ports are pretty basic. You got your USB 3.0 ports, headphone jack, and Ethernet ports, and also has a proprietary port for the AC. Definitely won't work with any other chargers. And also, the thing I like about this laptop is it has a Thunderbolt 3 port, another port right here for USB, HDMI, and display port, which is good for any display port adapters you might have coming from Mac. So here's my take on Thunderbolt. While I do like Thunderbolt technology, I think that it has seasoned in popularity. People aren't buying, people aren't prioritizing Thunderbolt as much as 2018. Back in 2018, everyone was wanting Thunderbolt because they thought it'd be cool to plug in an external graphics card. But nowadays, I don't think it's as important, and people aren't really, buying into the Thunderbolt phase, especially with AMD supplying processors to laptops. Again, it's nice to have a Thunderbolt. It's just, a luxury option to have. You're gonna be able to use Thunderbolt related items, such as audio interfaces or any eGPUs if you want to use that in the future. But currently I do have a desktop. It doesn't really relate to me as far as usage. Thunderbolt is obsolete to me now. Now on the top you have this Razer logo. I like it. I personally like the Razer logo. It lights up, but I do prefer it to not light up. That's something you're gonna have to get in the other models, in the 2020 versions. So in summary, the build quality is sturdy and it definitely has that MacBook-like aesthetic, and the performance is, well, let's talk about that a little later. So the keyboard is something that I believe that you can get used to within a week. A lot of people are talking about how the shift key is actually a little bit smaller than a regular shift key, and it's also right next to an arrow key. So it took me about a week to get used to using the shift key with other, to capitalize my letters. But like anything I buy, I usually just get used to it. If you're a real stickler with keyboards, then definitely do not get this laptop. If you have smaller hands, do not get this laptop, because the keyboard, the shift key is kind of stretched out to the right side. But it's definitely not a deal breaker for me. I got used to it within a week, and I'd still recommend it. I know some people really don't like low travel distance keyboards, so this would be one of them. And if you really like high travel distance keyboards, then go ahead and stick with those. This one's definitely a little mushy. Alright, so moving on to the panel. This is one of the best panels I've ever seen on a gaming laptop. So the panel that I got is an LG panel, and I'll leave the model right there. And here are the specs. So apparently, according to notebookcheck.com on its review on another gaming laptop, this is actually one of the best that came out last year. I definitely recommend it. I feel like this sweetens the deal a little bit more for a Razer Blade gaming laptop, because now it has one of the best screens that came out last year. So moving on to the internal guts. You have a 62 watt hour battery, 2 sticks of 8 gigabytes of RAM, some copper heat pipes that are pretty large. I think they're definitely efficient in cooling the system, 2 fans, and some room for a 2.5-inch drive. Next, we'll see how well the heat pipes can cool this bad boy. So performance on this is great. Thermals were awesome. They weren't going over 80 degrees unlike some other laptops. And I think that Razer did a great job with this. So my Razer Blade was able to undervolt by negative 0.125 millivolts. Might be different for you. So since you are getting last year's model, your Cinebench scores aren't going to be the best, but still you're going to get a great gaming laptop that's capable of editing videos on the go. One question I do have to ask though is, do you really lose a lot of performance if your Cinebench scores aren't the best? I think that even with decent scores, you can still stream, you can still render videos at a considerable rate, and it will definitely last just as long as a 2020 CPU. So definitely think about that if you're trying to save money or try to get a good discount on last year's model of a CPU. So you will notice that when the computer is on idle, you'll definitely hear some light fan noise. But other than that, the fans during gaming were great. 40 decibels is pretty quiet for a gaming laptop. And finally, this is what I got for my Time Spy score. So in conclusion, Razer has released, similar spec products, but with their Razer tax, which could range from like $500 to $800. With this model being released, I think that it was a smart move on them. I don't know if they lowered the prices or Amazon did, but right now you can get it for $1,100, and I think it's just a steal. Pretty much you're only paying $100 to $200 extra for Razer tax for a similar spec product. When Razer and if Razer pairs up with AMD to release Ryzen's latest processors, I would definitely pick that up. But for now, we're gonna have to settle with this, and definitely if you value aesthetics, pick this up right now. Well, that will do it for me. Thank you guys for watching my channel. Again, subscribe, like, share this with people. And I also like to give a shout out to everyone who's commented on my last video. Definitely appreciate it, and stay tuned for more videos that will come out in the future. Definitely going to do a few more laptop reviews. I still have the G14 I have to review, and a few other things as well. I'm going to talk about Intel versus AMD. That's something I'm thinking about as well. Will the prices drop? Will Intel sell their products just at the same price as AMD? So that's something you're definitely going to have to keep in the loop with. Subscribe to my channel and have a great day. Have a great day.